All right. Now I have the great pleasure of introducing you to Paula Naeff. And Paula is coming to us from Switzerland. Thank you so much. So it's nighttime, your time, right? Well, so Paula's an executive coach. She has great energy. Cyrus introduced us to her. Once again, Cyrus is to be applauded. And we love Paula's energy, and she's very motivational. She's an excellent coach. She has a great reputation. And she is a member of Mind Valley. Paula, I didn't know that you were a member of Mind Valley. I'm thrilled. I'm so intrigued by Mind Valley. And I've read Joe Silva's, one of his books. And he's got a fascinating approach. So I'm excited to hear what you have to share, because anybody trained under the Joe Silva method, it's a pretty fascinating methodology. So, but I can't wait to hear what Paula has to say. So Paula, I'm turning it over to you. Hold your questions, put your questions in the chat. We'll make sure that we get them answered, everyone. And I think John is our mute monitor. So take it away, Paula.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you everyone who's here and also people who will be watching the recording. I'm so happy to be here. Yeah, and good afternoon from here. It's 5:08 p.m. It's in Switzerland. And look, I'm going to start sharing the screen here so we can get started. I would like to just mention in the beginning, this is an interactive session, so it's not just talking. I will ask you to do stuff. So on a thinking basis, and also like literally do stuff. So if you can, like, of course, if you're driving a car, please don't start writing or something, because that might be dangerous. But I'm going to start sharing the screen. Let me just find the right one here. Sent. So today's concept, the whole topic is clarity. I'm going to keep this really, really simple for everyone, because clarity, it is a simple concept. However, it is something that can be extended to everywhere and anywhere. However, today we're concentrating on the individual clarity, your clarity. So this is for you, and you are then welcome to expand on this how much you want, and just, go for it, take it somewhere where you want to take it. And the other concept that goes together with this very much is from the inside out. That is a concept by itself. I will introduce that to you as well, and how they go well together. And yes, this might require some thinking, so there might be some pauses where I just allow your thoughts to, wrap around some concepts. So no worries, everything's fine, connection's working and all that, in case there's silence. So today's agenda is introduction. I will share some form and shape of my story and who I am, where I come from. Then the concept of clarity, very simply, what is it? I mean, we all kind of have an idea, but there's, you can clarify that too, right? So concept of inside out. Oh, this one. I dropped a couple of the letters, so it's now an OR for clarity. It was a roar, but we can make it a roar afterwards. And putting it together. So I'm going to ask you to write. It's called a quick write. So something where your thinking mind will not have too much of a space to go in it. And then clearing the mind, some concepts. And these are the things that you can take away with you for your mind, your body, and your soul, because this is how I work. I include all three parts of us, because we're human, regardless of where we are. If we're at work, if we're at home, if we're wherever we are a whole, one person, one body, one mind, one soul. And that's what's important for me too. And then your commitment, I'm going to ask you to commit to something. And then you take it from there. And then there's a question and answer from that. My intention for this session with you is to really serve you powerfully. I want to serve you powerfully because I am honored to be here. And I want you to be able to take away something that, even if we never, ever, ever in this life met again, but you will have something with you from this session that you can take away and use every day for the rest of your life. That's my goal. And so take notes, be with us, and then, yeah, write down your questions so we can answer them, or I can answer, I guess. So who's Paula? That's me. It says leadership performance coach, executive coach, and I like to put things in nice shapes and forms. So this list of some words that kind of describe of who I am are in no order of importance or any kind of timeline. It's just a matter of the length of the word for me here. However, I can go from top to bottom. I have a BA. I actually studied in the States. That's probably where this accent comes from, because I'm originally from Finland. I speak Finnish as my mother tongue, and I live in Switzerland. I speak German every day. There we go. I'm an artist. I studied art and business, so I paint. I'm a guide. I guide people. I guide in my work as a coach. I'm a mover. I was a dancer, trained as a ballet dancer. And I'm a Pilates instructor, so movement is a big part of my life. I'm a mother of 2 beautiful children who are now in the other room, waiting very patiently and quietly, as they're supposed to, right? I'm a dancer, like I said. I'm a former, and I left it at there because we're all former a lot of stuff, right? So I'm a former a lot. Like credit manager, I was well, not really an ice climber. I competed in ice climbing. I mean, skier, all kinds of stuff. A clown too. So there are a lot of former things that I have been, the former things that you have been. Speaker, I'm a listener. I travel. I'm a performer. Adventurer, because I see life as an adventure. Curiosity, adventure, all of that. And I'm an entrepreneur. I run my own business. So all that stuff that comes with that. My story. Look, we all have a story, and we all have a powerful story. And my story consists, like before, from words that I picked. My story, if I was going to tell you, like, my entire story, we would be here for 2 weeks. But I'm not going to tell everything. I'm going to tell just a little part of the story because it's important. Clarity is the concept of my life. And so what I talk about is in everything that I do. It comes from dancing. I was very clear. I was a dancer. I trained classical ballet and all kinds of other stuff, and I wanted to be a dancer. However, in that world with my body, you can't make it. And that was the thing, and that sounds really hard, but that's how it is. But that kind of stopped me from being authentic. So I lived my life according to the expectations of others or what I thought would be acceptable. And this all, put it all together, I burned out. So I had been working overtime a lot, had kids, and all of a sudden I was out. And I didn't get out of that burnout, so it turned into a depression. And that was 7 years long. However, one word changed everything for me, and that was responsibility. Up until that point, when I once heard that word from a different angle, when I had the clarity about what the word meant, it was for me a burden, like a curse word. I hated hearing responsibility because it was a blame. It was something I was thinking, oh, it's my fault. Everything's my fault. How everything around me, everyone else's problems, my fault. However, one day, and that's the end of my depression career, I heard responsibility, and it opened up to me the clarity of that word from coming from a place of opportunity, and that I have the choice. Now I see the word as it's my choice. I can choose what I think. If I'm clear what I want, I can choose where I go. I can choose my steps. I can choose how I feel about it. I can choose how I respond, whatever. It's my choice. And that is a huge, huge opportunity. And that's when it all really started, with me finding out also my purpose, which was actually to help people. And I thought, look, purpose, help people. You have to be a doctor to help people. Well, no, you don't have to be a doctor. I'm a coach. I help people. And that's brilliant because that's what I wanted to be. It was a dream of mine years ago, and I forgot about it, and I came back. So here I was living my purpose, serving my purpose. And clarity, yes, like I said, this is the concept for me. If you find clarity about who you are, what you want, why you want it, and the first step, you're good to go. And I'm saying that that's easy. It's a lifelong process to find that and define that and redefine. However, in the end, it's joy. In the end, every day, I am purposeful about finding joyful moments in my day, because joy, why are we living here anyway? We live here because, well, we want to enjoy life while we're here. So joy is very important in all I do. Humor, throwing out things, not taking things seriously. So this is a little way of telling my story. And I encourage you to at some point think about it. And what is your story? Because your story matters. Your story, when you think about it, brings clarity to you. It brings clarity to everyone around you. And it serves others. So the goal for today is actually in these 3 words. Clarity is key. It is key. It's everything. It's simple and it can be easy. It's a process. So what is clarity? Clarity, clearness or lucidity, as it refers to perception or understanding. Freedom from indistinctness or ambiguity. Think about that. If you had freedom of ambiguity, even to a certain extent, maybe something little remains. But if you have freedom of that, how you can breathe differently, how you can see things differently, how you can respond to things differently, and things just seem lighter. So clarity helps you feel lighter, and like you just know what the next step is. You just know where you want to go. And that's at the bottom of simply being clear. And we're going to hop on to the other concept where we can afterwards combine this freedom, this freedom of ambiguity is combined with the inside out concept. I'm going to introduce you to this concept with what it means, because this is really the key to combining how to make clarity a little bit more simple. The inside out concept, I learned it from a great coach called Michael Neal, but it really is a concept that refers to every single human being. We all experience life in this way. Our experience of life is created from the inside out. It comes from you. You create your thoughts. You create everything. And it's all thoughts. What we experience is our thinking, guided by our innate wisdom, our mind. And I want you to just think about it. This innate wisdom is within you. It's your internal wisdom. And the concept of clarity becomes the key part in this, because if you are clear, if you can find clarity, if you can clear your mind from the thousands or millions of thoughts that can pile upon each other and can cause overwhelm and even then burnout, if you can clear your mind, you will have a path to your innate wisdom, and you will know what the next step is. You will know what you want to attract into your life in terms of the next job, in terms of an adventure, even things like, where do I want to, if you're going to travel somewhere, where do I want to go? If you're going to thinking about purchasing something big, that clarity is important. So for you to be able to create that path into your innate wisdom is absolutely key. So clarity on the inside creates clarity on the outside, right? If you're clear on the inside, all of a sudden things seem to be like falling into their own little place, like a puzzle. So if you know, okay, this is who I am right now, this is what I want right now, and if that's clear and you can just let go of the anxiousness of I need it now, then, well, you're good to go, because then you will start seeing things falling into place. And this is a concept like we mentioned mind valley, that there I have a lot of this comes from there. I'm just going to have to say this because look, I don't work for Mind Valley, but great place to learn things and to learn about your innate wisdom and to learn about clarity and to just grow. And so this is one of those concepts. And here's a great quote from another really great coach, Richard Litvin. Your identity is created from the inside out, but reinforced from the outside in. You create your reality, right? If it's clear, you can see clear results. You can see clear outcomes, and the outcomes are aligned with what you want. So that clarity is, yeah, absolutely. I keep repeating myself. It really is key. That's why it is. And I want to keep things really simple. Simplicity and the ease is, don't have to make things complicated. And the side effects of clarity are joy, peace, courage, confidence, and satisfaction. A lot of other things too, but I just picked these ones to create a nice little picture here. Because yes, you can breathe easily. You can live a life of more balance. We talk about work-life balance. We talk about if you're in transition, you have a lot of thought you put into, what's the next step and where should I go and what should I do? And well, what if you found clarity within yourself? What if you were able to clear your mind and just see, okay, listen to your inside, listen to yourself, your internal wisdom that comes from within, be like, all right, well, this is what I want to produce in the world. This is what I want to experience in the world. This is the kind of adventure I want to attract into my life. What if you looked at it from that angle? What if it wasn't chasing after something? What if it was attracting things into your life through that clarity? Just a lot of questions, concepts, things like that. At times you can take a breath and be like, all right, I'll figure this out. Now we put it together. The concept of the inside out helps you to simplify the path to clarity because the answers are within. You already have them. You already have them. It's not about a skill. It's not about knowledge. It's not about some statistics somewhere. It's about who you are, what you want. That's a question that a lot of people cannot answer. It's a challenging question, especially, well, all of them are. Who am I? Who is that person who wears all those hats? Who's that person who is the conductor of the orchestra? And what do I want? And why is that what I want important to me right now? Like what you want can change, right? At different stages of life. Right now, there's something that you want. Well, why is it important? Why do you want that and not the other? So this whole concept of the inside out, when you come back and you trust it and you say, all right, well, actually, all the answers are here, it will simplify your path to clarity. So there's two things. I originally had 4, but I simplified the thing here. And I said, okay, let's stick with an O and an R. Observe and reflect. 2 very powerful thinking concepts that will help you clarify things and to see things from a different angle. Observe is to take a step back, be like a fly on the wall. Wouldn't that be nice sometimes if you could be a fly on the wall somewhere and just look and observe? Well, you can do that with yourself and any situation that you are in or you have been in. You can just take a step back and observe. From an outsider's perspective, change your point of view. And then reflection. Reflection, very important. Because oftentimes, if we do not do this consciously, what we see and remember and reflect on kind of automatically is often quite negative. We see the things that didn't work out, the things where we think that we made a mistake or something like that. Well, how if you just reflected and draw out lessons? This is something that might be controversial, but I've learned that I don't actually do mistakes. I don't actually fail at things because they are lessons. Failure is a part of everything. If you didn't fail, you wouldn't succeed. So failure is necessary mistakes are necessary. So what if you saw those as lessons? You can see that through reflection. Find those moments of joy. I really encourage everyone, even if this is something that seems like, oh, it's, this other concept of finding, these moments of, well, it makes a difference. Find moments of joy. The little things, that's usually what they are. What was it this morning, for example? What was the moment of joy? So no judgment. There is no right and wrong. There's no bad or better. Everything's fine. It's a reflection. So we're going to hop into a short writing exercise. Now, if you are in a place that you cannot be writing anything, don't worry. I would ask you to just make mental notes. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to write down, and it's a quick write. That means you just keep writing, to observe this morning. Like when you got up, maybe that point of time. Keep it simple. You're just observing. Like, for example, my morning, I would say something like, oh, so it was still dark and there was some movement, and Paula slowly crawled out of bed. It must have been something like 5 a.m. She walked into the living room, sat down, and she seems to be in a thinking state of mind. There's no one to talk to. The sun is not up. She seems to be contemplating on something. I wonder what it is. Now, this is an observation of my morning. Of course, that's me. I know what I was contemplating. I know what I was thinking. I know what I was doing. But now I'm taking a perspective like, well, there was a spider in the ceiling. So maybe I was like the spider. And that spider was looking down. It's like, all right, well, what's going on here? What do I see? And see how that, how your morning looks different when you do it from that perspective. So this is just, it has no other significance than just to have you try observing and really like writing things down like this. Make it fun. Like, that's the one thing I wanted to actually mention here. Is like, look, don't take things too seriously. You can make it funny, add humor. I mean, if you can make yourself laugh, even better. That sounds sometimes like when you afterwards you read that what you're going to write right now, you're probably going to laugh. And that's great. So I'm going to give you, let's say, 3 minutes, and you will just keep writing. Just keep writing. And I will then prompt you a little bit, and then I will also tell you when the time is over. So let's start now. There's no right and wrong. Keep writing. Now, as the observer, look around. What do you see? You can see things that you didn't even realize you went through this morning when you look at it from the outside perspective. So if you were the spider in the ceiling, what would you see? Keep writing, keep going through your morning. If you feel like it's too serious, how about a smile? You have about 50 seconds to go. And what else do you see? And if it sounds too serious, add some funny word in it. Just be silly. That's allowed. Leaders are also allowed to be silly. Now you got 5 more seconds to go. There we go. We're done. This is just your morning concept, your morning observation, and just, have fun with it. And this is something like, especially, this was now like a fun, this was not well, maybe you had a very significant morning, but, sometimes it's not that special. It's just any other morning. However, this kind of concept to create like clarity of a situation, for example, if you had an interview, if you have a conversation that felt like, I don't know what happened there. Well, what if you were to take this concept and just look at that, go through the conversation from an outsider's perspective, go through the interview from the outsider's perspective? What if you were to go through your mind from an outsider's perspective? Describe what's going on in your thoughts. And that will give you clarity. It will give you a little distance and be like, all right, well, everything's like a little less serious, and maybe there's even more joy. Be kind and compassionate. That's what I wrote down from the book. Tracy has been writing a book, and that's the 2 words: kindness, compassion. Right, exactly. So now we hop into the other part of how to get clear. Because yes, like I mentioned, I like to work with the mind, the body, and the soul. And there are certain things that you can do on a daily basis if you want to, and to really clear your mind. We're so in this environment every day where there's so many distractions. There's so much going on. There's so much noise that's from within, and noise that comes from the outside. And it just can be like, often what brings a burnout into place is the concept of overwhelm, where there's too many thoughts. And if you never let go of any of those thoughts, then at some point it's just one too many. And you burn out, or you get just exhausted. Some of you might know that. And there are ways to not feel that way. Like, one of my big things about in my coaching, if I coach whoever I do, whoever I serve, wherever I serve, is that, look, that it's possible to live a peaceful and balanced life with joy and success, and with all the outcomes that you want to have, and not feel overwhelmed, and not get burnt out, and not get depressed. It's not necessary. And I don't suggest anyone to go that path. Look, it's not worth it. I did it, I survived, and here we are. You can learn from that. So I'm going to give you 3 very, very simple things that you can take away with you. You can choose to do, choose not to do, whatever it is. And maybe you already do some of this, I don't know. And if yes, great, keep doing it. If not, pick 1, pick 2, pick 3. One tool for your mind is to write. That's what we just did, actually, writing things. And from my own personal story, and from the stories of some of my clients as well, they're like, well, I'm not a writer. I don't like, I don't like to write things. But it changes everything, because it gives you that perspective from the outside. So you're really able to clear your mind. What if you have so many thoughts in your mind? And this is actually something I just talked with a client this morning, is what if you just dump everything on the paper? And what if you had and even better, what if you had a daily routine to to write things down, to write just like ready. You don't even ever have to read what you write. Just get it out of your mind. Clear your mind with this technique. If you want, you can go back and read them. It doesn't have to be pretty. Nobody else ever has to read your notes. You know, and sometimes I can't even read my notes because it's, I don't know, it's like writing a different letters or something. But it doesn't matter. What matters is that you get it out of your mind. You get it somewhere else. In the body, I really encourage everyone to move. Like, you might be moving already. You might be exercising, going to the gym, going jogging, doing this and that. However, what if you added one movement a day that was different from what you did? What if you challenge yourself to do one movement that you're like, well, you know, I don't know about that. What if you tried? Like, for me, that has been a yoga move, because I'd like to say, and I'd love to be able to say, like, look, I'm a yogi, but I'm not. And this has been a challenge. However, it's a challenge that I've gladly taken on, and it, you know, it changes my energy. When I do a yoga move that at first seems like it's almost impossible, and if I then manage to do that even somehow, I feel proud of myself. I feel more confident. I feel like my energy changes because I changed my body into a different shape, even temporarily. Or if you're about to go to some place where you feel nervous and then you just shake your body, even if you just shake your fingers, because you were like, well, there's 100 people around me, you don't want to shake your whole body in front of them. Fine, it's okay. You can just, you know, move your fingers or move your head, some movement, some ridiculously small thing to add to your routines, because routines are routines. They're good. However, you get used to them. And on the soul level, connect with your breath. Connect with your breath. This is something we have with us all the time. We don't have to think about it, but that is what we do from the beginning to the end of our lives, all the time, a breath. And this is a powerful breath. If you do one conscious breath per day, and this is something that has changed with one client. She was in a place where she felt very overwhelmed, and we made a concept of one breath a day because everything seemed to be too much. She was in a very difficult situation at her work, but she added one breath. And at first it remained at one breath a day, just one breath. It doesn't have to be more than 2 seconds, really. But she kept doing that, and it changed things, because then it became 2 breaths. Then it became 10 breaths, and she was able to calm herself down, see things clearly. That's where the clarity comes in. This is a concept of clearing your mind through the power of your own breath. You really don't need anything. You have your breath with you, hopefully. So that's the third one. And here, these are 3 things: writing, moving, or connecting with your breath. And I'd like for you to now think about it. Think about where you are. Think about your routines. What could you commit yourself to starting today, every day? Write it down, whether it's the breath, one breath, that's it. Or one move, or one line even of writing. Commit to it, a time of day, and then set an alarm on your phone, because the most common excuse for not doing is, I forget, because it's not in your routines yet, so you forget. Well, I have also reminders on my phone to do certain things, and after a little while, you don't even actually have to check your phone. When you hear the alarm and it's that time of day, you will know, oh, it's time for my one breath. I know that's for that. So you just close your eyes, or, you don't have to close your eyes if you're like driving or something. You just take a deep breath and let it sink in. And already that will change everything. Especially if you're feeling anxious, or you're feeling stressed, or you're feeling worried about something. That is a way to clear your mind, let it go to a certain extent. Now, it's not, a miracle tool for everything. It will help you at least at that point of time. And then do it. Like if you have the alarm on your phone and it rings and you look at it at first and it says, take a breath, do it. That's the thing. Now that's really, you know, I just invite you and encourage you to do that. And then afterwards, set yourself some goals and be like, all right, well, if I can do this for 1 week every day, celebrate it. Celebrate it. And even think of a reward, like after, I don't know how many times, it depends on how hard or, what makes you feel like, okay, this is a reward. I've put this into place. Whatever it is, a reward for you, think about it and be like, well, after I've done this for 1 month, imagine that 1 month of doing something that you haven't done before that will help you clear your mind, and the effect that it will have in your life and in the lives of the people around you, because you will affect others around you just by being there. And reward yourself in whatever way you know that you will like to be rewarded. So, in summary, clarity is key. The inside out concept that we have this innate wisdom. You have it in you. You have it there. And the clarity to have your way cleared out from that clutter, from all those layers of doubt, from the layers of too much thinking, to clear it out so that you have your path is clear to the innate wisdom that you already have. And this will provide you the opportunity to attract things into your life that you want. Observation and reflection were the two thought concepts that we went through, and you wrote about observation. And clarity on the mind, the body, and the soul level, those three things that we said, the breath, the move, and the writing, and your commitment, which I hope you made right now. And yeah, keep doing it and keep sharing with others, like, well, what did I do? If you feel like it. So this is now an end of this part of the presentation. What I would like to do before we go into questions and answers is there are two things. There's one offer that I'd like to do. This is just for you because you're here. And then other announcement, which is very exciting, at least for me. And I hope that it works out in some way. So play with me here. The first one is I will offer you a one-on-one special package coaching, which is just to deep dive into more clarity. Is very simple. Look, I love simplicity. This is one of my core values. What are your core values? What is your vision? And what is your voyage? I wanted the 3 V's. That's why the voyage instead of journey. And that's what I would like to offer to you. You have all my information that you can get in touch with me. And I would love to be able to be here with you for just serve you even more, because this concept is big. It's huge, and you can expand it to your family, your community, any companies that you work with or have worked with or will work with, to any bigger scale, just as it is right now. This was concentrating on you because you are number one in your life, like you are, nobody else. And you have responsibility over your own thoughts, your own journey, your own values, and your own wisdom. So this is my offer to you. This is something I just do for you. And I thought out. I had something else in mind, but it didn't really work out. So here we are. This is for you. And I hope that I get to stay in touch with some of you or all of you in the future. And please come visit me in Switzerland, because I am going to come to your continent very soon. October 9th through the 13th. This is like a very, well, not a very spontaneous trip, but coming to Los Angeles was quite spontaneous, and I have never been there. So therefore, I do not have many details about this. It is just an open question, actually. Are you in that area? And would you be open to like a workshop or something else in that space somewhere over there? Like, I cannot remember the name of the place that I'm staying at, but it's like in southern Los Angeles. I'm being really like transparent and open here because I really don't remember the name. I have never been there. So All those are just names for me. But I would love to meet some of you in person. I would love that, because in person is just, I mean, this is already great. This is great. And in person is just like, well, it's 3D, you know? You actually get to like see the other person in real life, and that's great. So I'm really open for this, and I hope that some of you are open for this too in that time period.
Paula, I think that would be great. And we'll make sure that we send this out and just give us more details. Where LA is a big place. And so just give us a city, we'll pass it along. And you know, if we can facilitate making something happen, we'd love to. So let's go ahead and stop sharing your screen.
Yes.
We'll pass along the slides to everyone, right? Okay. And hang on.
There we go.
Okay. So there's lots of meat and juice here, right? You know, the thing that comes to mind, especially because of the group that we have, and just, you know, I know so many people that are struggling with overwhelm and depression and anxiety, and it just seems to be just, you know, expanding and expanding. But you bring up some really good points to consciously focus on your mind and your breath and your body, and to know that you can be at peace. That's, you know, it's so easy to forget. And it's, you know, when you're in the midst of so much muck, to try to get out of it seems like an impossible task. But so I like the tactics that you shared. You know, I think about this when it comes to job search, because job search is such a big deal, mentally, emotionally, financially, everything. And it's all consuming. So if we can put this in context of the job seeker, right? And how can we use this to prepare for an interview? How can we use this to accept that we didn't get the job? How can we use this to just, you know, deal or process the fact that we're not getting called for interviews? So in all of those things, how can you, and I know, you know, we're running out of time, but we have a little bit of time to focus on this. What would you say? What would you suggest to people?
That's a great question, because yes, recently I've also had quite a few people that I've been able to help with the job search, and with the you know, just getting clarity about what you want. Because when you are clear about what you want, then whenever you go to an interview or you approach a company, you send out an application, that's already a very clear message you're sending out. This is what I want. And if that's matching, they will invite you for an interview, and that really works. And one thing that really has helped, and this is something I actually didn't mention in the presentation, one skill that is so useful is listening. When you go to an interview, listen to the person in front of you. Listen with your eyes, listen with your ears, everything. Listening, the words is a little part of it, but listening to that person, their body language, their eyes, their mimic in their face, all of that, bring it in and be curious about them, because as much as they're interviewing you, you're also checking them out. Like, do you actually want to work for them? Like, if there's a bad energy, maybe you should listen to that bad energy. That wouldn't probably turn into a great energy if you did end up getting the job. So listen, that is a big skill, and you can practice that. If you think, oh, well, I don't know if I can listen really well. Well, what if you were to listen to, you know, if you have a spouse, listen to your spouse. Hold your tongue, like, you know, actually have to like hold your tongue with your fingers. But what helps is if you push your tongue to the top of your mouth and concentrate on their face, and do that in an interview and see how that changes everything. Because then you're much more present. You're much more capable of answering the questions from a place of clarity, from a place of that innate wisdom that you have. And you're not thinking too much, because we think too much. This logical side comes in. So And then, of course, the observation and reflection after an interview, however it went, even if you don't know the outcome of it, or after any kind of conversation or interaction, or you sent out an application, what if you were to observe that and draw out lessons and be like, look, yes, and I know it's so much easier said than done. Be like, okay, well, let me just take out the lessons when you feel disappointed for not getting a job or not getting called to an interview. But if you did kind of force yourself to be like, okay, what are the lessons that I can take from this? Then you will shift your focus away from, well, I failed. Because like we said, like I said in the presentation, what if you didn't fail? What if you had a lot of lessons? And then trust is the biggest thing is trust. Trust in yourself, first of all, and trust in the process. Trust that things that you're putting into place are working. And that is the hardest part often. But trust. Oh, you keep writing it somewhere. Trust.
I like what I appreciate that, Paula. I really do. And I like what Bill put in the chat. Clarity is the cornerstone of trust. And that's really important. It's interesting. I listen to what you have to say, and I can listen to it through the lens of relationships, from the lens of career, from the lens of conflict, and it's really interesting. It's so applicable to so many things. And but Bill, you have some really good things to say here, and I like this suggestion of working in 90-day plans. What are you showing? Bill, go ahead and take yourself off mute.
It's the book Trusted Leader by David Horsiger. He spoke at our Focal Point conference in April, and we're starting a new certification program to be able to deliver the content that he has a whole system related to trust, and so that's his new book, Trusted Leader.
Yeah, no, it's really impressive that, it's like all things come down to trust. And, if you think about it, so, when we're applying for positions, when we're interviewing, if we can just, maybe it's putting trust at the forefront, right? We're going to trust the process. We're going to trust that we know how to interview, that we know how to, what right words to say. If we just trust it, then what we can do is it seems to flow and be more graceful. And that's the sense that I got from you, Paula. There's so much grace in your words and how you're teaching us and the lessons that you're imparting. There's a lot of grace there, and I really appreciate it. Okay, we have time for one question. Who has a question? Anybody?
I've got a question.
Yeah,
Hey,
John.
Paula. Good morning. I was just curious, what are the other two parts that were removed from ROAR? I'm just dying to know.
Oh, it was recognize was the first R. It was, and allow was the A. Recognize, like, that was a bigger concept. Then I was like, okay, it's too much. But it was to recognize, okay, you need to know where you are right now in order to know where you want to go. So recognize who you are, where you are right now in this moment. And to recognize it, and it kind of goes with observation as well. Like, see, okay, this is where I am. And no judgment, like with all of these, no judgment. There is no judgment, like no criticism, but well, I should be. Drop the should. That should be one word we should drop. There we go. We said it twice. But yeah, that was that. And the other one was allow things to happen. Like, you won't be knowing every step of the way. All you need to know is your next step. All you need to know is the next step. And everything else, after that next step, the next step will become clear. Then the next step will become clear. You don't need to know all the 15,000 steps that you need to take. And you can't know them because there's so much that will happen. And I call it magic. allow that magic to happen, leave space so that there is that time and space for the magic to happen, which is those unexpected things that you couldn't even think of.
Thank
I really
you.
like that. Yeah, great question, John. Leave space to allow for magic. I'm writing this down. These are great pearls, Paula. They're really great pearls. Okay, so what we're going to do is you're going to send us a presentation, send us the city that you're going to be staying, and we'll see, you know, and your dates. So we have the dates, but let's see what we can do. Let's stay in contact, and we hope that you'll come back. We know that you're going to be here in person, and if we can facilitate, you know, anything happening for a group session, we'd love to. So thank you so much, Paula. And thank you all for joining us. We're thrilled to have you yet again. And we'll see you, Tina, is it next week or the following week?
Following week, 2 Fridays.
Okay. All right. So thank you, everyone. We'll send out the
Thank you.
recording and please, yeah, Carol, enjoy the Hamptons and
you.
just stay dry. But thank you
Take care.
all. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Thank you, Paula.
Thank you, everyone. Peace
you.
out.
Thank you,
Great
everyone.
clarity.
Bye.
Appreciate the
Everyone.
clarity. Thank you so
Bye.
much. Great to see everyone. Peace out. Enjoy your weekend.